Anyway, this is my Substack. This is what it looks like when you land on it. That's my cat. He wants to see the world burn. Just drop your email in there. And from there, hit that subscribe. And you'll get all my writing straight to your inbox for your reading enjoyment. And with that out of the way, first story of the day is from Reuters. Higher food prices lift U.S. consumer prices. Hurricane Helene boosts jobless claims, which that's a pretty quick turnaround right there. 2 weeks. So quick summary of it. CPI increases 0.2% in September. CPI rises 2.4 year on year, smallest gains since 2021. Core CPI gains 0.3, up 3.3 year on year. Weekly jobless claim jumps 33,000 to 258, almost a quarter million just in the week. Wow. Continuing claims increase 42,000 to 1.861 million. That's a lot. So Washington, October 10th. U.S. consumer prices rose slightly more than expected in September amid higher food costs, but the annual increase in inflation was the smallest in more than 3.5 years, keeping the Federal Reserve on track to cut interest rates again next month, which is not going to solve the problem. But I'm no economist, so what the fuck do I know, right? It's a little low. Fuck it. Other data from the Labor Department on Thursday showed the first-time applications for unemployment benefits surged last week to the highest level in more than a year, boosted by Helene and a nearly 4-week-old strike at Boeing, which has forced a U.S. plane maker to furlough workers and impacted suppliers. The strike and hurricanes could distort the labor market picture this month, which I pity anybody who does not have a job right now, like myself. It really fucking sucks out there trying to maintain any sort of motivation through just the mountains of no and no and no and no and no. And, oh, I know you're applying for an entry-level position, and that's nice and all, but, yeah, we got more qualified candidates, so go fuck yourself, I guess. And it just really, really fucking sucks. I'm gonna kill this compressor right quick. I think that sounds better. Anyway, despite the firmer than expected monthly inflation reading last month, sharp moderation in rent increases led economists to expect more muted rise in the main inflation measures tracked by the U.S. Central Bank for its 2% target. September CPI rose more than expected, but the details do not suggest enough acceleration to sway the Fed from 25 basis points rate cut next month. So we're going to lose 0.25% on interest rates. Okay, like that doesn't mean shit. That ain't nothing. Then again, I haven't even fucking played with stocks in, God, it's been months. Holy Christ. Ugh. Hold up. Yeah. Fucking had to do a whole bunch of shit with this desk. Anyway, it jumped 0.2% last month, gaining after 0.2% in August. Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics said food prices jumped 0.4, so twice what, God, that's so fucking, after rising 0.1% in August. At least it's slowing down, but still, like, pound of ground beef is like twice what it was not even 4 years ago. Fruits and vegetable prices rebounded 0.9% after dropping 0.2%. Consumers got some relief from gasoline prices, which plunged 4.1%. Oh my god, a whole 4.1 on gas. Yay! It's not like we're trying to win an election, Democrats, right? Right? Rents up 0.3 after climbing 0.4 the prior month. In the last 12 months through September, CPI rose 2.4%. That was the smallest year-on-year increase since February 2021, which, I mean, I guess silver lining to the Biden administration, if you can call it that. We're still like, what, 50, 100% in real inflation over everything else because they keep having to revise the numbers, and they put out stuff like this that looks halfway decent, and then a week later come by and are like, actually, guys, it's not even remotely what we told you it was, but thanks for all the positivity and not actually paying attention and skinning us alive at the announcement. Thanks. Inflation's major issue for voters in next month's presidential election. Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party nominee, is locked in a tight race. It's not really that tight anymore. It's really not. Fed shifted focus to labor market, delivering a large 50 basis point rate cut. First reduction since 2020. Stocks open lower, dollar was changed little, treasuries were mixed. Saw roughly 87% probability of a 25% basis point rate cut. November 6th to 7th policy meeting. Odds being unchanged were about 13. Economy added the most jobs in 6 months in September, and the unemployment rate fell from 4.2 to 4.1. Oh my god, a whole 0.1%. Let's see, volatile food and energy components, CPI increased by 0.3, healthcare costs up, motor vehicle insurance up, apparel up, airline fare up, everything is up. Imagine that. You know, I didn't have a live stream back in 2020 because I'm an idiot and didn't think about it, but I've been saying this shit for a decade. I'm not an economist. I'm not the brightest person. I mean, I'm smart enough to know where to look for the information, but I'm not like Mensa member. I'm not, you know, the latest and greatest. But I remember in 2014 when California was like, we're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I was like, I made a long-ass post on Facebook. I'm like, you know what's going to happen, right? 5 years from now, after you do that, California burrito going to cost $15. Gallon of gas going to be $7. And yeah, you're going to be making $15, $16, $17 an hour, but what about me who's making $25 right now? You think I'm going to get whatever the equivalent is? Nah, fuck no. I'm going to keep getting that, even though I worked my ass off to get up out of entry level when I was working, to have something, and that little bit of escape, that little bit of savings, that little bit of purchasing power gets just eroded. And sure as shit, California raises the minimum wage. Oh, well, now we're $15 an hour. Well, that's not enough. Now we want 20. And it's like, why not stop it? Why stop there? Why not go to 50? Why not go to 100? Why not go to 1,000? Why not just go full fucking Zimbabwe on it and, you know, pack of gum costs $1 million. It's just numbers. It doesn't mean anything to most people. Unadjusted UEI claims soared 53,000. Wow. I can at least say I've never gotten my own money back. And I was forced to pay because taxes are theft. Almost 10,000 claims in Michigan because of Boeing. Almost 10,000 in North Carolina. Gee, I wonder what happened there. Florida, I suspect that number is going to climb even higher. just a fucking sad situation all around. Labor market short-term outlook is likely to be distorted by Hurricane Milton. Well, at least he got his stapler back, I hope. Deadly tornadoes, destroying homes. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. The roughly 33,000 machinists at Boeing who walked off the job last month could negatively impact October's unemployment report. Oh no! Today's data shouldn't raise concerns. It should absolutely. Whenever they say it shouldn't raise concerns, that's when you need to be concerned. The wake of recent labor strikes and natural disasters, we might see jobless claims increase further over the next few weeks. You don't fucking say. Was that water that was coming out of the sky when that hurricane came through wet? You dumb motherfucker. Next up, we have from the Daily Caller. Hurricane Milton makes landfall in Florida nearly 2 weeks after Helene pummeled Sunshine State. All he wants is a stapler back. Hurricane Milton officially made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida on Wednesday night as local residents have either bunkered down or fled the areas expected to be hit, according to the National Hurricane Center. Dropped from a Cat 4 to 3, thank God. Right before landfall, devastating storm had 120-mile-an-hour sustained winds and higher gusts. Warnings about it began early in the week, with lawmakers and officials urging residents to get the fuck out. It's like the one time that it's actually a good idea to listen to government. Made landfall near Sarasota County. Now is the time to shelter in place. First responders are staged and ready to go. I wonder if FEMA is. Probably not. Search and rescue efforts will be well underway to save lives before dawn. They will continue for as long as it takes. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis posted to X, formerly Twitter. Estimated 2 million people, including those within the Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater, Florida area, were under flash flood warning from the Tampa National Weather Service as between 6 to 12 inches of rain had already fallen. Violent videos of the storm have begun circulating on X, showing powerful winds tearing apart homes, trees, power lines. Multiple people dead following tornado outbreak. Hashtag selfie. Hashtag oh my god. Hashtag it's the end of the world. From Shmirti Sharma. Florida being hit hard. I believe that was followed with Florida looking like Piper Perry in that infamous meme with those 5 black gentlemen around her. Tropicana Field roof has come off during Hurricane Milton. Ballpark was being used as shelter for first responders. Oof. That sucks. Early reports of indicated fatalities occurred due to tornado touchdowns prior to landfall on Florida's Atlantic coast, according to West Palm Beach affiliate WPTV. While details remain unclear, confirmed that it was multiple people. Storm comes on the heels of Helene, a Cat 4, which resulted in the deaths of over 200. It's going to be more than 1,000 when the final count comes in. I guarantee it. Through North Carolina, Georgia, and South Kakalaki, Tennessee, and Virginia, after first making landfall in Florida on September 26th. That's right, September 26th is when that hit. Nobody really cared about it until, like, well into October. Move on before I get mad. This one's my backyard. Arizona Democratic office hit by a third shooting in weeks. There are no injuries or arrests. In Tempe, Arizona, I used to live like right down the road from there. Democratic National Committee campaign office in suburban Phoenix has been struck by a third shooting, said police on Wednesday. No one was inside the building in Tempe, and no injuries were reported in any of the shootings. The latest incident occurred Sunday when someone fired shortly after midnight at the door and windows of the office. Fucking asshole. Probably put the tinfoil on. It was probably Cher Blue. Watching you fuckers. Sneaky motherfuckers. $1,000 reward has been offered for any information leading to the arrest or indictment of those responsible. Police did not provide any other new details in the latest update. Most recent shooting came days before Kamala Lama Ding Dong was scheduled to come to Arizona to try to turn us towards the dark side, I guess. Tempe location is one of 18 field offices that they have in Arizona. Tempe police have not named a motive. Gee, I don't know what the motive could possibly be. Maybe chickens coming home to roost? Like, you spend 8 years telling one side that Donald Trump is Orange Hitler, evil madman, and that the other side are nothing but good-for-nothing communists, which is a little closer to truth, but still. This is what happens when you sensationalize the media. This is what happens when you atomize and corral people into these little isolated echo chambers and feed them algorithms to keep them fucking outraged. So, no motive, that's just lazy, not even fucking thinking. The motive is clear. It was a gunshot at a campaign office. They intended not to hurt anybody. They intended to just take out their frustration on it. I can almost guarantee it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone at midnight. They would have gone midday if they wanted to actually do something about it, which I do not think anybody ever should. Violence is never the answer. Go to my Substack. I've got a fuck ton of articles talking about how we need to de-radicalize this thing. The answer is not radicalization. The answer is not the same thing that we've been doing. It's coming together, talking, and I might joke a lot about the left being commies. I might joke a lot about the MAGA crowd being, following the second incarnation of Adolf Hitler Christ or whatever. But that's joking, and that's what that should be seen as to begin with, is joking. Because I guess we're there. Anyway, I was about to say if people thought that Trump was actually Hitler, they'd probably be taking pot shots at him, but then I realized kind of crossed that Rubicon a while ago. Anyway, your motive is just you guys are not wanting to say it, or you're too lazy to actually think about it. Police have said they are analyzing evidence from the scene and taking measures to ensure the safety of those who work in the building and nearby. Any of that go to de-radicalization efforts? Probably be a good start. In the first shooting on September 16th, hey, I know somebody with that birthday. Authorities reported that the office was struck by a pellet or BB gun rounds. Most recent incident, actual gunfire, was reported in the second shooting. Political violence has marred this year's campaign season, with former President Donald J. Trump, God Emperor, and Supreme Leader being targeted by 2 assassination attempts, one at a campaign rally and the other at Florida golf course. House recently voted unanimously, might I add, to no, maybe not. I thought they were going to say to increase his funding, to require Secret Service to use the same standards when assigning agents to major presidential candidates as they do for presidents and vice presidents. Hey, equal for everybody. That's cool. This country's so fucked. We are so fucked. Like, living on the internet. The internet is not real life. Go outside, touch grass. Like, it's important to be aware. It's important to be, to know what's going on in the world. But when you let it become everything, that's when it becomes a problem. Unless you're intent, like, it's one thing to approach it with an open mind. It's one thing to approach it with the skeptic outlook and try to peel back and see what the underlying causes are. And in that sense, like, I've dove headfirst into it. But, like, every now and then, like, you got to step away from it all. You got to just go outside, woosah, touch grass, whatever. Go to church. Just go do something. Go for a hike. Because, like, this ain't it, y'all. Like, internet's not real. Like, the Destiny Schizo arc was incredible to watch. But, like, it shows how fake everything is. It's all fake. It's all bots. Like, my 4 followers on Twitter are probably 10% real people and the rest are bots. Probably. If I had to guess. Maybe. I don't know. But, like, the whole goal is to just, like, manipulate emotion, manipulate action to get you to do the bidding, to focus on what they want you to focus on so you're not looking at the bigger picture going on. And, yeah, who are they, though, right? Anyway, over here at Just the News. Millions of Christians not planning to vote this November could shape election. Study. Oh, that's a long one. Oh, maybe not. God, look at that like, I just wanted to... Right there. That top 8th. Maybe 6th. Top 6th of this page that loaded is actual text. And the story. This all down here is just other ads, other articles. Which, I mean, kind of do the same thing on my Substack, whatever. Anyway, millions of Christians in the U.S. indicated in a study released on Monday that they are not likely to vote in this upcoming election this November, signaling potential problem for the Republican Party. Just over half of interviewees, 51% in a cultural research center at Arizona Christian University study, who identified as people of faith, responded that they are likely to vote in the just over half indicated that they're likely to vote. The people of faith label is given to those who identify with a recognized religion, such as Christianity, Judaism, Mormonism, sect of Christianity, or Islam. Study found that approximately 104 million people under the people of faith umbrella are not expected to vote this election, including 41 million born-agains and 32 million who regularly go to church. I see 2 huge takeaways from this report. First, that Christians could be deciding factor in a bunch of federal and state races, probably, maybe, I don't know, and are choosing not to be. And second, that they are longing for their local church to instruct them on how to think biblically about policy and politics. I think you're giving them too much credit there, sir. They don't want to be told how to vote, but they want to know why they should vote and how to view political issues from a biblical framework. You know, that's... If you need a book written by Jewish goat herds around 0 BC to tell you how you should feel about politics, maybe just it's better that you don't vote. That's why universal suffrage is terrible. Like, we spend our entire lives in school. Like, the first 18 years of our life were, well, 12 of them. 12 of the first 18 years of our life we spend in government schools, right? It's 66% of the first 18 years. And over the course of those, the very beginning, we learn that you'll be given these sheets periodically with little bubbles that you got to fill in with the number 2 pencil. Make sure they're all dark and make sure every one of them is filled all the way in. Because they tell us that we want to fill them in, A, because it lets you know where you are on the test, but also B, even if you don't know, you have 20 to 25% chance of getting it right, right? Well, So here's the thing about psychology is that your brain does this thing where it looks for patterns. And so when you turn 18 and you're given a ballot that has these bubbles that you fill in and make sure they're all dark, you don't need the other instruction to make sure that every bubble is full. But that's not how voting should work. You should not be voting on issues that you are not educated on. You should not be voting for candidates whose policies you are either not aware of, and by aware of, I mean reading material, watching material, listening to interviews, whatever, from the candidate themselves. Not what the news tells you they said, not the clips that the news shows you, but the actual start to finish totality of what their message is, so that you yourself are not being given a slanted picture one way or the other. I have not at all told a single person who I've proselytized to this election season who to vote for. I have only told them to vote and to educate themselves by looking up the candidate that they're interested in, or looking up the candidates' full speeches start to finish and watching them, listening to them, and making up their own mind, not by picking and choosing off of... There's a reason I grab all of these different news sources and include them in the articles, is because Ground News is an awesome aggregator, and I just usually grab ones that I think are cool or whatever. But also, I want to get as many different sides and lead by example that it's okay to read conflicting viewpoints. It's okay to go to Fox News if you're a liberal and read an article. It's okay if you're a conservative to go to MSDNC, whatever it's called, and read their opinion articles that they call fact. It's okay to do that. You're allowed to. You're an adult. And that's part of being mature. It's part of being educated. And it's part of being responsible when it comes to voting. Because back to the bubble sheet thing, you're conditioned for the first 12 years of your awareness. Because, I mean, really, you're not really aware of 6 and under all that much. You might have glimpses here and there. But by the time you turn 18, you've taken so many of those tests, you don't even think about that instruction to fill in all of the bubbles. It's just automatic. And so when you were given a ballot, you might check Kamala Harris, you might check Donald Trump, you might check, who's the libertarian furry? That furry British cigarette. Who's Chase Oliver. You might check Chase Oliver. You might write in Mickey Mouse. I don't give two fucks. But what I do care is that if you don't know what those candidates stand for, if you don't know what their opinions are, you should not be voting for them just because they have a D or an R next to their name. You should not be voting for a ballot initiative just because it's supported by your candidate or this candidate or whatever. You should be voting for or against something because you yourself believe that it is a good policy and it is going to benefit the people. Because if you don't, you're relying on institutions, left or right or other, that have a not just well documented but clear and present, consistent track record of bending the American people over and just ramming it in dry and just banging it the fuck out. Like in 2012, the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act was passed under Obama. It was an amendment to the Smith-Mundt Act that said that U.S. intelligence agencies, CIA, NSA, FBI, those kinds of guys, couldn't disseminate propaganda to the American people via mass media. And it was updated to say, certain entities in the Defense Department, certain entities, certain no such agencies are allowed to use the airwaves, and you have now the Mockingbird media, where I'm sure everybody's seen it, the montages where they have all the different local news stations, all the different major news stations, all saying the exact same thing, almost the exact same cadence. And it's the party line. And if you're not aware, if you're not thinking, if you're just filling out the thing, you're not doing your civic duty. You're doing the bidding of your slave masters. You are doing exactly what was expected of you and exactly what you were conditioned to do. And I am not saying that you shouldn't fill them all out if you're aware of them, but be aware of what you are voting for. Long rant, sorry. Anyway, the 32 million Christians who regularly attend church services but are not likely to vote represent far larger margin than the combined number of votes that decided the 2020 election in key battleground states. If church leaders, family members, and close friends will use their influence to get reticent voters from their churches to cast a ballot on November 5th, it's one of those things, that those predictive programming things. The election outcome will be meaningfully affected. The research was conducted in 2 phases in August and September, which pulled a combined total of 3,000 respondents. That's a really small sample. First survey, conducted from August 26th through September 6th, polled 2,000 self-identified Christians who attend church service at least once a month and had a 3-point margin of error. That's a big swing, too. Second poll, 1,000 adults over 18, 4-point margin of error. So, And before we jump into the weather, our final one from the Independent here. Marjorie Taylor Greene doubles down on weather modification conspiracy theory despite experts rubbishing hurricane control. It's not possible for the government to produce or modify hurricanes, but that has not stopped Marjorie Taylor Greene spreading beyond ridiculous claims. I would actually take umbrage with this, and one only need to look as far back as earlier this year when I believe it was the United Arab Emirates had a cloud seeding project go awry that caused massive flooding that was widely reported, and how anyone can say that weather modification does not exist at this point is beyond me. Small anecdote, when I was looking as to what I was going to do with my life as an 18-year-old graduating high school, I had been looking into the Air Force back in 2008, and during the course of my research, I remember one particular fact sticking out more than anything, so much so that it stuck with me till today. And that is that in 2008, the stated goal, or one of the stated goals of the United States Air Force, was to own the weather by 2025. And I think about it, and I knew about cloud seeding back then. I knew about, like, chemtrails, geoengineering to some degree. I knew that it wasn't something, I'd heard about the conspiracy theories around HARP and all of that stuff. But it was still kind of outlandish, because 2025 was still 17 years on from there. It's a whole nother generation. And from where I stand, I was born in 89, right? Same year that the B-2 Spirit bomber was declassified and introduced to the public. Right around that time, the F-117 Nighthawk also was. And even by today's standards, both of those planes are quite advanced. But what's really mind-blowing is that the B-2 bomber has lineage all the way back to the 60s and even further back to, like, old Nazi designs of flying wing designs or whatever during World War II. And it's long been said that the technology the government has because of black budget spending to the tune of trillions over the course of years. Their technology can best be estimated at least 10 years ahead of us where we currently are. More likely, probably closer to, like, given the nature of technology and the way that it advances, it's entirely possible that they have off-world technology. That it's impossible to speculate accurately as to what exists, but something like weather manipulation where you can change the course of a hurricane, while improbable or not out of the realm of possibility, though I do think in this particular case it's kind of off base, but it's one of those things where, okay, this doesn't exist, but what does, right? What can be done? And that's almost more interesting than this. And really, in a roundabout way, tip my hat to Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene for even broaching the subject, albeit perhaps at not a great time. We don't need voices out there making the right look retarded, because the left is just going to, by virtue of existing, oppose anything. You could walk outside and be like, the sky is blue. Be like, no, it's red. It's green. It's any color but the one you say it is, even though the evidence is right in front of me. Just because they are that obstinate. And that's okay. They're entitled to their opinion. Have an argument about it. But wait until the election's over, you retards. Anyway, on with the story. Marjorie Taylor Greene has doubled down on her debunked claim that the government can control weather just as millions of Floridians brace for Hurricane Milton. Now, see, this is where the writing here is just incredibly sloppy, because here you state, it is not possible for the government to produce or modify hurricanes, but then down here, debunked claim that the government can control weather. Now, that's not a debunked claim. That is verifiably true statement that the government can control weather. Whether or not they do is a different story, but is it possible? Yes, 100%. Cloud seeding exists. They can control weather. And perhaps it's just me being pedantic, but I think that given the current political climate, we might want to be a bit more careful with our terminology here in the media, if at all possible, and if at all you could help it. Because much like the voting integrity thing, don't say there wasn't widespread election fraud, say there wasn't election fraud. Because if you say there wasn't widespread election fraud, that implies that there may have been acute voter fraud. If you say there was no voter fraud, you are making a de facto fucking statement that says, no, there was nothing. Stop questioning it. But this is how relativists operate. They close enough. I realize I say that as I had published an article about conspiracy theories and how... No, my point still stands in that article. Never mind. I'll read it here after this and after the weather. Republican from Georgia claimed last week that they, quote unquote, it should be in parentheses, can control the weather after Hurricane Helene killed more than 24 people in her state and more than 230 across the U.S. While she did not clarify who they was at the time, who are they though? Joe Biden said the idea the federal government controlled the weather is beyond ridiculous. Yes, they can control weather, she wrote on X. It's ridiculous to lie and say it can't be done. Then on Wednesday she posted a follow-up to her initial claim to clarify. Everyone keeps asking, who is they? You don't get the meme, and you've been at the Beanie compound. That's funny. Well, some of them are listed on NOAA, as well as most of the ways weather can be modified. If your home or business or property is damaged or a loved one is killed by their weather modification, shouldn't you be eligible for compensation? Valid question, but if the conditional is not met. Attached screenshots of weather modification project reports from NOAA. These projects include cloud seeding. It's existed for nearly a century. So they can. So you, in your own article, admit you can control weather. What the fuck? Though cloud seeding experts can improve a cloud's ability to produce rain or snow, according to Desert Research Institute. They do this by introducing ice nuclei to certain types of clouds using planes or ground-based generators. Conspiracy theorists have pointed to cloud seeding throughout the years as evidence that the government can control major weather events. I don't think anybody's making that claim outright. I think that that's being read into it by people who want to see it in the argument, and rather than attack the argument on its merits. However, cloud seeding cannot be used to create or modify hurricane. It could be used to modify. Again, here's that thing with the language that they are using. I would agree that it's probably impossible to just create hurricanes with only cloud seeding. I'll grant you that. But you can surely modify them. Furthermore, there is no weather modification technique that would allow government to create a hurricane that we know of. Florida Research Institute, or International University. God, brain not worky. Hugh Willoughby at Florida International University, who previously headed up NOAA's Hurricane Research Division, said hurricane modification is not possible because they're chemically simple. Air and water vapor, introduction of catalysts is unpromising. Again, energy involved in atmospheric dynamics is primarily low-grade heat energy, but the amount of it is immense in terms of human scales. Oh, there's everybody's favorite water filter salesman. Hasn't stopped weather control from becoming another right-wing talking point on social media, often by the same people that deny climate change exists. You know, you can't really make a defensible argument that humans cause climate change, because climate changes. That's what it does. It's called weather. At least with global warming, you had a definitive statement. Now you're just like, well, we don't know which way it's going because we don't actually have any real evidence-based anything. We just want to have some thinly veiled reason to tell people to stay in the trap of consumer purchasing bullshit with new cars and no vacations, because even though Taylor Swift can fly probably more than human beings ever did from the Wright brothers through probably at least when she was born in 1 year, your vacation pollutes too much CO2, even though that CO2 was once in the atmosphere and is a vital part of the planet's carbon cycle. But you know who's keeping score. Alex Jones, a right-wing conspiracy theorist who falsely claimed, yeah, you gotta bring up the Sandy Hook bullshit, don't you, you fucking cunts. Amplified Green's false claims. Again, they're not false claims that the government can control weather. This is just outright bad writing, period. You state in your own article, the government can create rain with cloud seeding, ergo, government can control weather. And then you come down here and just do this dumb shit of saying partisanship, angry, retard alert. Like, how fucking stupid are you that you invalidate your own argument in your own fucking article, not 2 paragraphs down? Swear to God. No integrity with these motherfuckers. Bottom line, the federal government could have killed the storm. Now, see, that's a different claim. And extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I don't believe that that is true because I have not seen any indication that the technology is wielded by the government. So, who knows? Maybe it'll bear out that some document will come out that declassifies it. I don't know. But as of now, it's dubious. It is of indeterminate veracity. because you can't falsify it, which is kind of the problem with conspiracy theories to begin with, is that a lot of them are not falsifiable, at least not by current scientific understanding or evidence. And so the problem is that when people come in and say, I know for a fact, no, well, see, there you're doing the exact same thing that they're doing, just in the opposite direction, and that's not right either. If you can't prove it one way or the other, you say, I don't know. Repeat after me, I don't know. There's nothing wrong in saying it. It's not a reflection of you as a person to say, I don't know. In fact, you should be happy to say it, because that means that you have something left to learn. Rather than this bullshit of, I need to be able to speak authoritatively anywhere. The reason I can speak as confidently as I do when I'm doing these things is I don't make stupid fucking statements like the government can control hurricanes and steer them into areas for political gain. Likewise, I don't make statements like the government can't control weather, period, but cloud seeding exists. If you stay away from making statements of fact and instead focus more on, how would that work? What would the mechanism be? How would we go about exploring that? Where do you think our technology is? I'd like to speculate on things. That's fine. Be upfront about it. But to claim knowledge, you can't even directly interact with the world around you. Literally everything in your reality is purely up here. It's all electromagnetic waves filtered either by eyes or nose, tongue, fingers, ears, turned into electricity and slapped back together into something that keeps you from getting eaten by lions by your brain. You don't actually know what reality even looks like. You don't actually know that you're not a brain in a jar in a mad scientist's lab being fed a bunch of electrical impulses. Probably not, but you don't know. Because you can't know. Epistemology, motherfuckers. The only thing that you can know aside from, like, definitional knowledge, like, all bachelors are unmarried, because the qualification to be bachelor is to be unmarried. Aside from definitional knowledge like that, that's just linguistic, the only thing you can know is that you know nothing. You could have a pretty good idea. I can't tell you that I know the sun will rise tomorrow because I have not been to tomorrow and come back. Something could happen. Comet could crash into the Earth. The extension cord keeping the simulation that we're all living in could get unplugged from the source that's running it. CERN could find a vacuum state lower than the state of space and cause... I forget what that one's called. There's a lot of things that could prevent tomorrow from coming. And therefore you cannot say, I know. You can be pretty sure. You can be 99.9999999 and so on % sure, and you'd probably be right. But to claim knowledge is bullshit. This is a map of hurricane-affected areas with an overlay of electoral map. Oh yeah, that one's... I mean, it's hard to argue with it. It does fit the facts that she's presenting, but... you know, I think it was Sigmund Freud who once said, sometimes a cigar is just a penis. Online rumors have spread that the government geoengineered Hurricane Helene to seize control of lithium deposits in Chimney Rock. No, that's not the hurricane part. That's the FEMA response being bullshit. Get your conspiracy theories right. Chuck Edwards, who represents Chimney Rock's district, even had to release a statement debunking the claim. Except, why do you do this? Why do you do this when there's actual articles like proving you wrong? was not. I agree that it wasn't geoengineered by government to seize and access lithium deposits in Chimney Rock. Nobody can control weather. Again, why do you make these statements of fact? That's not true. Here, I'll show you. Record flooding in, I think it was Dubai or UAE. Here. Oh, yeah, kind of got to turn scripts on. Dubai flooding. Record heaviest rainfall in 75 years. April 18th, 2024. From fucking CNN, no less. Shut up, phone. Where is it? You're gonna let's see. Unofficial. Oh, it wasn't caused. Okay. Practice is meant to enhance rainfall. UAE has been cloud seeding since the 1990s and has been doing it regularly over the past few years, meaning they can seed the clouds, cause rain. Perhaps I was incorrect in stating that this particular storm was not, or was caused by cloud seeding, and if that's the case, I was wrong. Oh my god, it's not hard to do. See, I just did it. It's almost like I planned that. The UAE is a government, has a government. The UAE has been cloud seeding since the 90s. Cloud seeding causes it to rain. Rain is weather. Causing something to act would be to control it. The UAE has been controlling the rain to some degree or another since the 90s. 30 years. This has been being used by a government. That's the bigger point here. It does not matter if this storm was caused or wasn't caused by cloud seeding. What matters is that this right here invalidates that statement entirely. And the thing is, all he would have had to say instead, this hurricane was not geoengineered. Yes, technologies exist that allow people to control the weather. Not to this scale. This was not an example of it gone awry. That is all. Why is that so difficult for people to say? Why is that so difficult for people to hear? Because that's the other problem with it, is that when half of the country hears somebody say that, they think that they're a tinfoil hat wearing motherfucker, and just like I was wrong by stating that the floods in Dubai were caused by it, I was still right that this statement is incorrect. The difference is, I admit when I'm wrong. Because there is no shame in being wrong. It happens. We are imperfect. We do not have perfect omniscience. We do not know everything. We can't know everything. We can't know anything other than we know nothing. So everybody, myself included, do better. Current geoengineering technology can... right there, again, one paragraph after saying nobody can control the weather, the article goes on to completely and totally undermine the point. To undermine that statement. Right here, current geoengineering technology can serve as a large-scale intervention to mitigate the negative consequences of naturally occurring weather phenomena. That means that you can control the weather. Nobody... To the people making claims that the government was controlling or manipulating the hurricane, sure, fine, what the fuck ever. They didn't. Happy? They can still control the weather. Conspiracies are also circulating about Hurricane Milton. When it makes landfall, FEMA sucks. FEMA's spent more time debunking all of these fucking conspiracy theories than they have actually helping the people in North Carolina and the victims of Helene. And that's part of the problem too, is that maybe these conspiracy theories wouldn't fucking crop up so goddamn much if people weren't being left out in the middle of nowhere where they think, oh wow, these people that we pay all our fucking tax money to really don't care about us and would probably rather see us dead. And oh wow, they're saying that, you know, the shit right before me that I'm seeing doesn't exist, and calling me a liar when they're not even fucking there. So, do better. Fucking do better, come on. It's not hard. FEMA's not blockading people. They were. They absolutely were. There's fucking videos of it. FEMA doesn't control the traffic flow or traffic stops. They were. Maybe not officially, maybe not in their guidelines. Maybe they're too busy fucking teaching toddlers to stick dollar bills in transgender drag queen what the fuck ever's G-strings in a goddamn public library or whatever. But they were doing it. Harmful rumor that can put lives in danger. No, not acting. Not responding puts lives in danger, you fuckwits. Like, again, if they spent half the time helping the victims of that hurricane that they did debunking all this shit, nobody would be making, like, you'd still have a couple people, I'm sure, because it's human nature. You'd still have a couple people being wackadoos. They're fun. Have fun with them. Flat earthers are retarded, but every once in a while, it's nice to just jump in and feel good about yourself by beating up on somebody who's kind of probably better served being in a assisted living something or other. Anyway, space weather. CME has arrived and the storm has begun. Tuesday's X-flare has just reached Earth and appears to be as potent as advertised. Solar wind speeds jumped up to 750 kilometers per second. Fuck, that's fast. Crack is opening in Earth's magnetic field. Geomagnetic storm is underway with an intensity currently fluctuating between G2 and G4 class. If it's dark where you are, be alert for auroras. Electric currents. Oh yeah, that's our, what is that called? Energy flux? Geoelectric fields. It's a lot of current. Wow. That's an interesting swath of the country that's, interesting. Did we get... We didn't get the fucking flare and CME from earlier today. That's the, active region on the sun right now. It's gotta be at least 1 football field long. Look at that auroral oval. I have a feeling that that's going to be a lot further south than they are presenting there. Really quick, if we can, Soho, last 48 hours. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Solar activity, space weather live. Where's our... That's right. Scripts. Solar flares. Past 2 hours. Coronal holes. CMEs. Solar proton. Far side. Do we have... God damn it. Do we have like a... Let's go. Oh, look at that comet. It's so beautiful. Oh, I would bring up Suspicious Observers video, but that's somebody else's work, and, well, I think that... Ah, here we go. Image. Oh yeah, scripts. We'll do that one, and that, and 9 to 10. Generate. Play. That's the last 24 hours. What if we go? If we go for the month of October. Generate. 700 frames. You want to see how active the sun has been in the last 10 days? It's kind of scary. Ready and go. Boom, boom. So let's see, that's the 2nd. So I think it was the 6th. Look at that, watch. Here we are on the 4th, 5th. Let's slow it down a little bit. Truly is a thing of wonder. It's beautiful. Big ol' flare, big ol' flare, big ol' flare. How many was that? Hold up. Okay. Shit. Fuck. Cunt. Piss. Dick. Tits. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 6 total. Crazy. Truly, truly remarkable. And then, let's see, wind map and the radar.weather.gov. Should probably turn on scripts, huh? Keep them blocked on the news pages because they run so many fucking advertisements that it just really kind of fucks everything up. Oh, hey, look. Where'd it go? This is gone. Dave's not here, man. I guess Milton got a stapler. Congratulations, Milton. Let's see. So, ooh, hello. So there's Milton in his decaying corpse. Which direction is that going to get pushed? Where's that going? Let's go to Mesosphere. So we got that. So it's just going to go out to sea and just die a slow and painful death, probably. Yeah, might get directed back around right there. Who knows? That would be shitty. Oh my god, could you imagine? Stranger things have happened. But what is this? Looks like a... Let's see, what direction is that going? Probably going to take a southern track down into Haiti, Cuba, Yucatan, somewhere along there. Because I don't see it. You would need... I'm no meteorologist. This is just from rubbing a couple brain cells together and kind of having a general understanding of how all these things work, not a in-depth understanding. But with that convection there, looks like you might get that pushed. Yeah, because it's aimed south, unless this leg of things takes an upward trajectory. So if that high pressure there moves, maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go ahead and end it for the day. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. I enjoy ranting. Hopefully you learned something, and if not, well, whatever. That's on you, not me. Have a good one.